question, we'll discuss the STEM analysis from the few classes. So that all these steps has been discussed, all this procedure has been discussed, right? Today we'll discuss what the things that we need to calculate from the data or the steps that we have taken through this STEM analysis, isn't it? So, but before moving further, is there any question? If you people have studied something related to that, or if some doubts from the previous session, if you people have. Is there any doubt, question, something? Okay, so as you people are writing in message box that everything is clear till that. Okay, then today we'll discuss all these computations, right? What the result you are supposed to draw from all this table that we need to make by collecting all those data using all those procedures, isn't it? So you all have that slide that I given to you yesterday. So you all just open the slide on your screen, whatever the things that, and you just take this data table with you, right? We are using this data. Fine, we are using this data to draw all these curves and other results that we are supposed to get from the steps that we have taken, or all these procedures that we have done for this STEM analysis, isn't it? Because the term is STEM analysis. STEM, we know that analysis means after collecting the data, we need to draw some calculations, we need to draw some inference, isn't it? So that is analysis. So we'll discuss all these things. So through some graphs, so I'll going to upload one by one all the graph, and then I'll discuss. But you all people just open this. I told you you have to open this table, all this table, right? This table, and we have another table. Oh, sorry. Yesterday I have given one more table with you. So you just open that table on your screen, isn't it? So on the basis of that, we'll try to learn lots of things today from that. Is it okay? And one by one, I'll going to upload the graph, and then I'll also open this download link with the same, so that you can download immediately if it is not visually clear on this screen here. So better you download on your screen immediately, and then you try to understand. I hope you all are understand that all the instructions that are given to you. Okay, so one by one I am uploading the graph, and we'll discuss the same also. So this is the first graph that we need to discuss. Download link is already open. You can look at here. Download link is there. You can download the things here clearly if it is not visible. Okay, now try to understand, right? Try to understand the things here again. All of you just look at the graph. So first that we have supposed to draw from all these STEM analysis form, the data that you have filled through the field exercise. The things that we need to draw is age, height, curve. Age, height, curve. Is it clear? And from where you have to have a data. So you just look at here. I just show you that data. You just look at here, isn't it? You just look at this table. Column 2 is a height section. You can clearly see that here, isn't it? Then we have a age, because we are drawing age, height, curve. So we have again age. So you just look at the column 7. Just look at here. We have a age section. So we are using these data, height of section here, all this data from beginning to end, and all this data from age of section to draw that graph here. Is it clear? So again I am showing you that graph, and then we'll discuss in detail here. So just look at the graph, right? Here we have this y-axis, and then we have this x-axis. So the x-axis we are taking age, right? And on the y-axis we are taking height in meters. and using all those data that you have already seen in the graph, and then we are plotting these things here. Now as yesterday I have told you, when you are doing all these stem cutting and cutting section, and then we started counting all this edge, so we start from the zero, right? So but here you just look at here, this is not start from the zero. Why? Because after taking the breast height and counting the rings and edges from the zero, we are also later on using that seedling that I told you. Using that seedling, we are also estimating the age till that breast height, isn't it? I hope you all have remembered that. So that's why it is not started from zero. So it is started from that certain age. This is the age which we are calculating later on by using the seedling. I hope you understand that. Isn't it? So that's why if you look at here, right, it started not from the zero, but it started from some height, and that is we are calculating for the seedling. And from there, and using all those data that we have already had in that particular form number 2, we are plotting this curve here. Just you are able to look at here, isn't it? Have you get that? This one is clear? Is there question? Is there any question from this part? Any question? Right. So you just look at the graph. After getting all those data, whatever with the number of trees you have taken, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 trees you have taken, then you have getting those data, and after the getting those data, you are plotting this particular graph. Now after getting this graph, you can use that graph for the same species of the same site quality anywhere, isn't it? So you just look at here. For example, everything you are able to get that. This is the cross section, right? And for example, we need to know the age up to this height. For example, 5 to 10 is there. For tentative it is for example it is 8. So but we do that if the height of tree is 8 meters, so age may be 30 years, right? So using this curve, we can able to estimate the age as per the height. Is it clear? Or if we have some data of age, we can estimate the height. Both the things can be understood through this age height curve. So just doing all these practices by getting one specific tree, or getting 4 or 5 trees, and then we are making all those data, and then we are plotting by using all those data of height and age, and we are getting this kind of graph. And once the graph will be there, you can use this graph anywhere. If you have the same species, same site quality, right, we are able to get the data as per our graph. We are not supposed to do the same exercise there. Everywhere we are not supposed to do the same exercise, just using this. First thing is that. Second, even if you don't have a, we are not supposed to go other place for the same field. As for the same field, since we are taking as a 4 or 5 as a sample tree, isn't it? So if you get this data, so after just getting the height of all tree that is available in this particular plot, we are able to estimate the age by using this graph. Is it clear? Have you get this concept here to all of you? I hope concept is clear. So once more, this that why did it start from 0? Okay, why we didn't start from 0? See, what the steps that we are following while doing this stem analysis, right? We are felling the tree at certain stump height, fine. Then we are using the concept of breast height for the cutting section of stem, isn't it? From the breast height point, and then you are calculating the rings, those annual rings, to determine the age from that breast height part initially. So since we started from the breast height part, we are taking it as 0. Is it clear? We are taking it as 0. But apart from that, one should understand the things very clear, but at least some time has been also passed to reach that breast height, isn't it? When you are starting any kind of seed, for example, today you have drop a seed, right? So obviously it will take some times to reach the height of breast height when it get converted into plant, isn't it? Right? Then we are using the concept of seedling. We have also estimate the height, estimate the age of that particular breast height part. So we have to add with the zero. So that's why the things will not start from the zero itself. Is it clear? Okay. Is it clear to all of you? Is there any question from anyone? If anyone has any question, you can ask. Yes, you have 30 seconds. Think over that. And if you think that some questions should be there, we'll discuss. Okay, so there is no question from anyone. So I assume that everything is clear to all of you. Huh? Okay. Now we learn the second graph. Graph number 2. Confirm. Right? So again, you can download it if it is not clear to this live screen. So now we discuss this height, diameter, UB curve. Just look at here. Height, diameter, UB curve. Diameter, you understand that? Fine. Diameter under bar. So we have to develop these things. First, height, diameter under bar curve. Then after that, we'll discuss edge diameter also. Is it clear? Edge diameter also will discuss. Fine. So you just look at the graph properly. I hope the thing is very visible to all of you. So there are certain notation that is not clear here, but still if you look at that, I have yesterday, so you just download Andrea, that's why I have opened the link. I have told you sometimes it is not visible to some of your screen, so you just download from here and then open on your screen. Is it clear? Okay, so now try to understand the things. So now we are developing this graph, right? Because by using this concept, you have to draw this edge diameter curve here. Is it clear? So this is the first things we have to do. That first we have to diameter under bar curve has to be drawn, and again you are using the data. Again you go back or that particular table that we have. I have given you two tables and yesterday, so we can use both the table here. So if you look at there is one table that is going to provide you the height, column 2. You have seen that, and the next table that I have given you, that is going to provide you the average diameter for each decade. If you remember that, I have given you that table yesterday, isn't it? You are getting the diameter, average diameter for each decade. So we are using both the data here to plot this graph. You just look at here where from the D10 you have started that, isn't it? D10, it means decade 10 to up to decade 150. Right? I hope you are getting that. All of you are getting that. And on the basis of that, all these graphs has been drawn for each decade. You have seen that this much graph is there. This is for the each decade the graph has been made. It has shown here. So again you look at we have x-axis here where the height in meters has been taken, and then you have a diameter in centimeter under bar has been taken. The y-axis here. Sorry, it is y-axis. Don't consider the x-axis. It's the y-axis. Fine. So different notation has been. So all this individual graph I hope you are able to see that. Most of you are able to see this graph or not? Is it clear now? And again I am repeating, if you are unable to look at, just download it and open your screen. It will be clear. Right? So all these graphs has been made there. Diameter and height graph. I hope you are able to see these things here. And then after using this graph, listen carefully, after using this graph, again you have to develop one table, right? One table from this graph there. The table I like to show you. because from this graph, you just look at the graph. I hope this is clear to you. Just look at the graph. The things that you are able to get from here is from this graph you are able to read the value of diameter for each decade against the section height, isn't it? Just look at here. You are able to read the values for diameter for each decade against the section height. Is it clear? Is it clear or not? For each section height I am talking about. And what is the section height? Have you remembered that yesterday I told you section height means 1.37 meter, then 4.24 meter, and then 7.24 meter. I hope you remember that, isn't it? So we are able to read the diameter for each decade against the section height that we are able to draw from this graph. Is it clear? And then we are able to form one table here. So let me show you the table again. So up to this point, is it clear to all of you? कोई question हो तो पूछते जाओ. If any question you people have, you can ask. Okay. So after that, we have to make a table by using this graph. Let me show you the table. Again, you can download it. If it is not clear to your screen, you can download it. Right. So we have to develop this table. So you just look at the height of section, and then where decade is there. Decade also show the age, isn't it? 10 saal to 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years is the age, isn't it? And then you are able to draw the things here. It is section. If you look at the 1.37, 4.24, 7.34, 10.24, and everything is continuously going on. Just look at here, and this is the decade. This is the height of the section. Decade and from that particular graph as I shown you, you are able to get this diameter data. Just look at here, diameter data is read from the curve. So all this diameter data has to be incorporated in form number 5. Is it clear? Have you get that? We are getting this data from that particular graph, right? So you try to understand the concept here, and in your home you again check all these data and all these graphs and try to understand the fact. And if any doubt, you can ask in the next session. So is there any question till this point? Some students are writing some message. Okay, it's clear. I expect that. Can you describe the table? Okay, Mahmuda, just look at the table. See, what is this table? Table is the diameter. We are getting diameter from the curve to. I have shown you the curve just before this slide. Curve has been shown to you, right? So from there we are getting some data for diameter. And what is this process we are using? That we are using height of section, because we are plotting that data na, diameter under curve and height, isn't it? The things has been there. Two things has been made there, height and diameter. So we are using section height to get the diameter. What we are using? We are using section height, right, to get the diameter. Then we are plotting all this data here. So for each decade, this is decade for the 10 years, this is the section height, right? This will be the diameter. Similarly, if you go for this 40 years, and if this is at the section height, if 1.37 will be there, then diameter will be 25.4 or something. Is it clear? So you will get these things, and diameter is in a centimeter, that you should know that. So is there any other question from here? Similarly, you can read the whole table. So is there any question from any other student? Okay, so no question at all. So let's start the next thing. After that, we have to draw the edge diameter curve by using this table, edge diameter curve. Is it clear? So first let me upload that table. Fine. So using that information, just look at here, using that information, edge in years, and you just look at this, all this notation has been given there, sectional height, all these different notation, this block, straight line, and that, and you are using this notation to express everything here. That is edge, right, and that is diameter in centimeter. Is it clear? So at section height, this graph has been designed here. Have we get that? Is it clear to all of you? And again, I am told you, just try to understand the basic things, and again you download the graph, everything you can download, and then look the things in your room also after the class. So take 1 or 2 days, again read that, and if problem we'll discuss. And you all know how the graph has been drawn. If you have all the data, how the graph can be plotted, the simple graph plotting method, you all know that. So on the basis of that, simple XYZ axis or XY axis concept has been used here to draw the graph. Is it clear? So here you need to understand all. So on the basis of that, you are able to get this edge diameter curve. Have we get that? Is there any question till here you can ask? So after getting this graph, what you have to do, listen carefully again. After getting this graph, you have to do one thing. You have to read the values of diameter for each height section. Is it clear? Against each decade. Listen carefully. What the things you have to write, note it down here from this. You have to read the values of diameter for each height section against each decade. Each height section against each decade, and then you have to note down this data in another table. That table is called form number 6. Is it clear? So let me show you the form number 6 first. From that particular graph that we have, edge diameter graph, you have just seen that. So from that graph, when you are going to read the values of diameter for each height section, you have to make this data here. Is it clear? So again you have seen the decade of age, and then we have this another thing, we have a height of section in meter, that you already know that, right? And then after that, after getting this data, we have to make a final diameter under bark height curve. Is it clear? After that we have to draw this final confirm. Then after that we are drawing this final graph. Is it clear? That is giving the final diameter under bark height curve. Is it clear? So you are getting this data here. So using this graph again, you are able to estimate the parameter. If you get any data, if you are able to collect the diameter in centimeter, you are able to know the height of that particular species. Is it clear? If you have X plot and you are selecting 2 trees there and you are getting all this data, so using that data you are able to estimate that you give by measuring the diameter of rest of the trees, you can estimate tentative height in meters. Is it clear? So is there any question up to this point people can ask? So if any students any question, you can ask here, so that the things can be done accordingly. Okay. Now, so and then after that we have to plot another graph, and see whatever the graph we are plotting, we are just using all the initial form number 1, 2 that we have filled there, isn't it? By doing all this process of stem analysis. Right? Then after that we have to plot this curve, diameter under bark total bark thickness curve. Look at the TBT is there, and this dot mark is total bark thickness. The dot mark showing you the total bark thickness. Every curve is drawn here properly. Right? So again we are using the data same. I think the things we have seen that. If you look at the form number there, so obviously you are able to get this average value of DUB that you have already collected there from that particular data that I given to you yesterday. Have you seen that we have a DUB there, isn't it? We have a DUB also there, if you remember that. If you not remember, so let me first show you that. Right, you look at there, isn't it? We have a DOB, we have a DUB, isn't it? The data is there, right? So we are using this data to go with this curve, right? Is it clear? So if you look at there, the things has been developed. What are the things we are taking here in the x-axis diameter under bark data, and on the y-axis we are taking total bark thickness, and then we are plotting this smooth curve. Is it clear? So what the advantage that you will get through this curve? So this will help you knowing the TBT for each value of DUB. So whatever with the DUB will be there, you are able to estimate the total bark thickness. Is it clear? Right, because the data has been there. So 20 to 40 wave scale, even for the 21s we are able to know the bar thickness is 22. If the diameter is 22 centimeter, what is the bar thickness? If it is 41, so everything can be estimated if you are able to plot this graph here. Is it clear? Have you able to get the concept properly here? after that we will move to this seedling height, because we have also worked on the seedling. So we go for this seedling height. Then again we have to plot the another graph there. So whatever be the work that we have done, preliminary work, we have to plot the graph for each activity. Again you can download the slide here. Link is open. So you just go seedling height curve we have. Again we have the same x-axis we are using, and this thing is there, and we are making a simple graph. It's not so difficult to understand. Obviously it will start from the 0, isn't it? Start from the 0, and then we have taken on the axis height of seedling sections. As I told you, we have to cut the seedling in 10 centimeter distance. If you remember that, yesterday I have told you this is a simple method that will be followed. And what will the height of seedling? It may be 1.5 meter to 2.5 meter. You are not supposed to take more than 2.5 meter. So if the height will be 1.5 to 2.5 meter, and then we have to cut the seedling from the base itself, from the ground level, and then you have to get the small section of 10 centimeter each, and then you have to measure the you have to count these rings to estimate the estimate the age, isn't it? So this is the things, and then you are able to get the data also here. So you are plotting the same data here, age in years, you look at here, and it is height of seedling. So getting those data, then you have put in this graph paper, you are able to get this smooth curve here. Have you get that? Is it clear to all of you? Is there any question up to this point? After that we have to draw this one other curve that we need to discuss here. For this curve, confirm. Then after that we have to do this age diameter curve, right? And here age diameter means we have to make a curve of total age. Why we are doing this is the first step. Okay, first lesson. After that we have to we have to establish this lesson: total age, total age, and TOB pH curve. TOB pH curve we have to draw. pH, right? It means total age against diameter over bark at breast. This curve has to be drawn there. So are the process that need to be followed. So we have already made one curve. Age diameter curve has been already made there. I think you have downloaded that. We have discussed this in a curve 4, age diameter curve, that we have already seen that. Yes or no? Where we have already using the section, breast height section, and all this data under bark has to be drawn, plotted there, isn't it? And then we have also get one table there, and then we have discussed this one curve 6. Also here curve 6 means this curve I have given seedling height curve. If you look at that, the curve 6 has been written in, near that, right? Seedling height curve, you look at the slide, curve 6 has been written over there. So also we are doing this curve 6 data, right? Why? So that we are looking at the total age, isn't it? If you are doing the breast height section, so we are getting the age from the breast height. Then using the seedling height curve, we are able to estimate the age till breast height. So we are able to get the total age, isn't it? Yes or no? Right? And then you are able to plot this data here, age diameter curve, that you are able to see here properly. Is it clear? Have you get that? see, there may be chances that some of you may get confused today because lots of data and lots of graph we are studying in the class, but they are not supposed to worry. You just in your room again you study that. You just look at the graph, and but you have to study the graph in the same sequence, isn't it? Don't read the graph as it is here and there. You just read the graph, the sequence that I have discussed with you. Fine. Then you can understand all these things here. Then you are drawing this graph, and then finally we have to draw this age volume curve. Age volume curve there, isn't it? Let me first upload that. Confirm. Fine. So you just look at, I hope it is bit clear to all of you. It is diameter, right? Here diameter has been written over there. Okay, here diameter, this is diameter, and this is the breast height section has to be started, right? And this is height. Is x-axis we have a height and the y-axis we have a diameter. Maybe it is not clear, but you can note it down. It is diameter. This is written diameter. Is it clear? You can. So this is diameter height curve. First we have to make this diameter height curve, then using that curve we are able to get this age volume curve that I told you, right? Because we have to plot this age volume curve. Is it clear? So how the things has to be done there? So as you have already studied this curve 4, where we are discussing this relation between this height section for each decade, right? Diameter, what we have to study the curve 4, we have just said that a diameter as each height section for each decade. So we have just getting all this data in another table, and then we are plotting everything on this graph itself. Is it clear? Right? Have you get that? Listen carefully again, one by one. First, what the first thing that we have to do there is that we have just studied that curve 4. Curve 4, I hope you have, you can see, just look at the curve 4. If you look at curve 1, where you have, curve 4 means final diameter under bar height curve. There is the curve 4. You just look at the curve 4, and from there you have to make a data. What the data that you have to make? You have to data of this diameter at each height section for each decade. That to be recorded first. After that you have to calculate the basal area, right? After that you have to calculate the basal area at each decade. What is the basal area for each decade? Is it clear? Second stage. Third thing that you have to do, that you have to multiply the basal area with the length of the section. With the length of the section. Whatever the section 1.37, 4.2, the length of the section is there. You have to multiply we have to multiply with the basal area. Is it clear? Have you get that? And you have to follow this procedure for all except the last one. What is the last data you have? Last data you are not supposed to do that, but before last data you have to do the same practice. First, again I am repeating, first you have to read the diameter for each height section for each decade. Second, you have to calculate the basal area for each decade, and then you have to multiply the basal area with the length of the section. So when you are going to multiply it, what you will get? That you will get volume. You will get volume. Yes or no? Is it clear? You will get volume, right? So when going to multiply it, you are able to get the volume, right? So that you are able to see that the volume, how the volume has been found. Volume of cone will be there. If you are using the graph, you are able to estimate the volume. And then after getting all this data here, you are able to plot this age volume graph. So let me show you that graph also. Age volume graph. Okay, confirm. getting all this graph, and from this data you are able to draw this age volume graph that you are able to see here. Age in years and the volume in cubic meter. Volume in cubic meter is given and age in years has been there. Is it okay? So using that STEM analysis and getting all those data, you are able to get all these graphs, and again using those graphs you are able to estimate all other parameters of the all the parameters of that particular area of forest that we are working there. Isn't it? What we have to calculate it? So listen carefully again. We have age height curve, that is curve number 1. Isn't it? Then we have a height diameter under bar curve, that is curve number 2. Then we have age diameter curve number 3. Isn't it? Right. Then we have what? TBT, na? Then we are doing this final diameter under bark height curve, this is curve number 4. Then we are doing this diameter under bark and total bark thickness curve, that is curve number 5. Then we have a seedling height curve number 6. Then we have age diameter curve number 7. And then we have diameter height curve. It is just for knowledge purpose, but basically we are doing this age volume graph in final. Is it clear? So basically all this kind of information we are able to channelize or able to draw from the data that we have collected. Is it clear to all of you? So here one thing that you have to do here, you have to write these steps and all some graphs in your practical file also, because in a practical it is given, in the theory also the same topic has been, in a practical it is given a STEM analysis, in even theory the same topic has been given. Have you get that? So since both the things has been there, so you have to write the things there also in practical file, right? So and that practical day I am not supposed to repeat the same thing again. But if you are unable to understand any question, any doubt if you have, that you can mark that we can discuss there. But you all know that from last 7-8 days we are discussing the same topic here. I am not going to do in the practical season also. In practical we will do some other practical. Is it clear? So this all about for the this STEM analysis, nothing more than that discuss. And when you come to the college, then I'll provide you certain basic forms. I'll show you what kind of other form can be used here in STEM analysis. But the things has been discussed in detail, everything has been discussed in detail, right? Much more than sufficient, right? Much more than your syllabus. In your syllabus only the STEM analysis has to be discussed. What is STEM analysis? Nothing more than that. But I have, because it is in a practical part also, so I have discussed every aspect, process, procedures, how the result can be drawn, all this necessary graph that can be plotted using all those information. Is it okay to all of you? Is there any question from anyone? If any question, then we'll discuss the question there. No question from anyone? Are you sure? So listen again, if you are unable to understand today, and if you are unable to ask any question, again we have another class, lots of classes are there, you can ask the question, right? And is it okay? And again I am repeating the same thing. First you give me those topics in remote sensing that you think that need to be revised. So you just at least give me by the today's evening, so that when we have a session for remote sensing, we can revise the topic there. Obviously, you can go through all these things once again, and then you can come up with your doubts, right? And not only doubts, if you think you can add something, if you get some extra information, you can share that, isn't it? I also note down all those informations. Is it okay? So it's all about today. I hope you have downloaded all the slides here.